Just a kind note before we start Buster Crabb again, his case I mean. We are next going to look at Death on a Hillside. Englishwoman Jeanette May and her Italian companion Gabriella Guerin disappeared in central Italy during the worst snowstorm for 35 years. That's 1979. Englishwoman Jeannetty and her Italian companion Gabriella Guerin. Going back to Buster Crabb. As the Admiralty particularly did not want official involvement, Crabb was an obvious choice and accepted with alacrity, Alacrity, being short of work. So Crabb was short of work, so he accepted. He didn't know what the assignment was, but he just wanted work. Right, I want you to put yourselves in a position where you are a person of intelligence, of means, who is out of work. What would be your first reaction or thought at this assignment? Okay, moving on. It was appreciated that at 46 he was rather old for the task and was not really fit. So he's 46 and they thought he wasn't fit, he wasn't ready for the task, he wasn't, rather old for it. But the government still said, okay, let's get Buster Crabb. Being overly addicted, because of probably his merit, being overly addicted to cigarettes and alcohol, so this cigarettes and alcohol could have gave him away while he was spying because of the smell. But he had proved his effectiveness only a few months previously with Sverdlov mission. The endeavour was foolhardy for a particular reason. Extreme security precautions had been taken by the Soviets themselves to protect their leaders wherever they might be, and the penalty for any failure would be especially severe. The whole Soviet operation was under the personal control of the chief of the KGB himself, Ivan Zerov. The British security authorities knew that he was staying aboard the ship, and this should have alerted them to the fact that the crew would be specially watchful for any security problem. On the afternoon of 17th of April, Crabb travelled by train to Portsmouth with his fiancée, Miss Patricia Rose, who went purely to keep him company. On the way he told her what he intended to do and said that the Admiralty was employing him again. But it doesn't say again in the book, but it said it was employing him, although it was doing so indirectly, so that it would seem to be involved if problems ensued. Crabb left, so he told his fiancée, who he trusted most probably, she's the only one he probably trusted, and he told her what's going on. Crabb left, he wanted to tell her because he's probably worried. Crabb left Pat Rose at Portsmouth station and she returned to London while he went into town to meet the MI6 minder who had been detailed to assist him. The two then booked in at the Sally Port Hotel in Old Portsmouth High Street. Crabb signed his own name in the register. The minder called himself Bernard Smith. On the following morning, 18th April, the two men went to the dockyard to make a reconnaissance. Crabb decided to make his foray at about 7 a.m. on the following day. On the morning of the dive, the minder, who in reality was a local MI6 officer called Teddy Davis, suffered a minor heart attack but insisted on carrying on with the operation. They must have had passes to enter, so whilst he was having a heart attack, Crabb was obviously jittery and nervous about the whole situation now because his minder has just had a heart attack. You know what I mean? Who's looking after him? So everything's falling apart. They must have had passes to enter the enclosed area, especially in view of the presence of the Soviet ships. So more people must have become aware of the arrival of Crabb, who was well known by sight as a character, and they must have divined his purpose. After changing into his diving suit, Crabb swam towards a warship 300 yards away and was never seen again by his colleagues. So Crabb, who was addicted to cigarettes and alcohol, is swimming now 275 meters. At 7:30 a.m., according to latest Soviet statement, Crabb was seen by Soviet sailors swimming at the surface near of the destroyers. Excuse me. When Crabb failed to return from the dive, Smith took his clothes and unused parts of his equipment and returned to the Sally Port Hotel, where he paid his joint bill and removed Crabb's possessions that were still there. So this Smith fellow was walking slowly towards Sally Port Hotel because he suffered a heart attack. The Admiralty and MI6 decided to seek the help of MI5 in an attempt to cover up this disaster. More on the Crabb later. Thank you very much. Hey.